Thank you. So as I was saying, thank you. Good morning and welcome to the webinar INNO4CFIs Scalable Solutions, the IMUH and the P2P Carbon Marketplace. Today's session marks the official launch of these two digital platforms developed within the INNO4CFIs project. This project's goal is to promote the innovative carbon farming technologies and nature-based business models that aim to increase the CO2 uptake while also delivering environmental benefits such as soil restoration, biodiversity enhancement, and improved water management. This webinar is scheduled to last 1 hour and 15 minutes. And we will first provide a brief overview of the INNO4CFIs project with the support of Eleonora Lombardi, our project coordinator from Fondazione Amaldi, and also broader European contexts of carbon farming and carbon markets by Andreas Renner from Good Carbon. Afterwards, Irene Vigliano from TCS will present the vision and expected impacts of the Interregional Market Uptake Hub, the IMUH, which is a digital marketplace and networking platform designed to connect innovative green technology providers with relevant actors that are looking for deployable, sustainable solutions. This will be followed by a live demonstration of its main functionalities. In the second part of the session, we will introduce the peer-to-peer carbon marketplace and showcase how it supports the full life cycle of carbon credit projects, from registration and verification to tokenization and trading. I anticipate my greetings to Lydia Alejos, I hope I'm saying it correctly, who will deliver this presentation. We will conclude with the Q&A session, where participants will have the opportunity to ask questions and explore how they can engage with these two platforms. And I start without further ado. I thank you again for being here, and I give the floor to Eleonora to proceed with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna, for the introduction and for the welcoming remarks. So I think we can proceed with the introduction of INNO4CFI, which is a system project which has been funded by the European Commission and specifically by the EISMEA agency, which is the agency of the European Commission dedicated to the SMEs, development of research and scalable solutions, which with an overall budget of more than 9 million euros, involving 21 expert partners coming from 13 European regions, indeed marking the interregional role and the interregional uptake of our project. Next slide, please. These expert partners come from different backgrounds, so we mainly have private companies, so SMEs representing the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Europe, with backgrounds in carbon farming, GreenTech, and subsector in these bigger sectors. We count also big research centers representing national force in terms of research and development activities, as well as business partners and acceleration partners. Next slide, please. As it was already mentioned by Anna, we do have specific objectives in impacting the green tech and the carbon farming sectors. In that sense, our project has meant to develop like concrete and scalable solutions for these verticals, starting with our first innovative product, which is represented by the carbon farming technology platform. This carbon farming technology platform will be developed through the integration of several technologies and validated in our 4 living hubs. And next to it, we are also accelerating, so we are providing services to the entrepreneurial European ecosystem, providing them with a dedicated and tailored acceleration program in order to boost and to enlarge the scalability of our project. Next slide, please. So as I was mentioning, the carbon farming technology platform will be based on the integration of 4 main technologies. So artificial intelligence and satellite data to monitor and measure, the desalination to increase availability for irrigation, and finally the mycelium-based technologies to increase soil availability. Again, testifying that we are acting also in several land, soil, and water sectors. Next slide, please. These technologies will be tested in 4 living hubs, so basically real places, real lands in which we are planting trees in order to demonstrate the viability of integration of our technologies. These living hubs have been based in Greece, in Athens, in Italy, in Follonica, in Spain, in Salamanca, and in Belgium, in Annecy. What we had done already, because these activities have indeed started back in 2023, has been to plant 1,500 trees in the 4 living hubs. Currently, we have indeed overreached the KPI of our planted trees, because we count 8,000 trees planted as a common amount of trees planted in the 4 living hubs. We are going to have 4 pilot projects in 5 locations, because indeed in Italy we count 2 living hubs, so one in Follonica that I mentioned and another one in Montieri. We are working strictly with local partners, and we meant to have these sites as experimental sites in which we can indeed test our technologies for long-term carbon storage. Next slide, please. Next to it, we are also developing other 2 main products. The first one is the Interregional Market Uptake Hub. So basically a platform in where technology provider and solution seekers in the GreenTech field can communicate and can build on concrete and scalable partnership and identify real case solutions. In order to provide also a first base of community around the IMU, we are also providing an acceleration program to the most important SMEs and startups that we are selecting in order to have access to our acceleration program. So basically, a program in which we can not only gain knowledge, but also interact and get real hands-on and future scalable opportunities exploiting our Interregional Market Uptake Hub. And finally, we have the Carbon Marketplace, so a real marketplace in where project can be registered, verified, traced, and of course traded into the platform itself. So without any further ado and without keeping you here with general introduction, I will leave the floor to my colleagues that will jump in the concrete features of our INNO4CFI products. So thank you very much, Anna. Back to you, and thank you to all the participants.
Thank you, Leonora, for this great introduction. So I'll now give the floor to Andreas to proceed with the presentation of the carbon farming and carbon markets in Europe. Go ahead, Andreas.
Thank you, Anna. Hello, everyone. Before jumping into the details of the products we have, I have one session to focus on the wider picture, actually, where's the IMU and the P2P marketplace embedded in. So it's a 5 to 10 minute session on the policy framework, which guides our work. Next slide, please, Anna. So if we look at the overall picture, what we're doing is contributing to the EU climate targets. And the slide here shows that if we look back at 10 years time back, there were more than or close to 4 billion tons of carbon emissions in the EU, which were emitted every year. And the EU tries to become carbon neutral by 2015. And you see that there are a lot of sectors where there's a very clear pathway to reduce energy supply, industry, the building sector, transport. These sectors are mostly managed through the European trading system, the ETS. And so there's a clear pathway to reduce the carbon emissions. But what we see also is that it will never be possible to reduce emissions to zero. So to compensate remaining emissions, we need to increase carbon sinks. And that's actually where carbon farming, where our project comes into place. So the target is to increase the annual increase of carbon pools, carbon sinks, where you store biomass, where you store carbon in biomass or in the soils, year by year, to have like a 500 million or 500 million tons carbon stored. And that's mainly by climate smart land use. The EU calls it land use change and forestry, where it defines its targets, and more also engineered solutions, which are typically called carbon capture and storage technologies. Next slide, please. And if we look at the targets for the sector, we are looking at the regenerative agriculture, regenerative carbon farming sector. The political task is to have annually 310 million tons of carbon stored through these technologies on farmland, on cropland, on forest land, on peatland. And if you look at the chart, everything which is below the zero line is good. That's where we have carbon pools. We take carbon out of the atmosphere and store it in products and biomass in the soil. And those sectors which are still above the zero line, the blue and the orange one, which is mainly peatlands, still agriculture sector, they still emit the net balances so that they are net emitters. And we see at the scenarios that the green one, which is the forest sector, which is by far the largest carbon sink, it has been decreasing in the last years. And there's no scenario inside here from the European Environment Agency that we will meet these targets by 2030 to have that 310 million tons annual carbon sinks. So there's a high pressure on the policy side, and which is kind of the background of our project. Next slide, please, Anna. So the policy is very much looking on what the EU calls carbon farming, which is the regenerative agriculture sector, the sustainable forestry sector, peatland restoration, and more what the European Union refers to as permanent removals. And some of these technologies are linked to the land use sector, like where biomass and carbon is stored in products, where biomass is turned into heat and biochar as a carbon sink, biochar carbon removal, and to a slow extent where you use biomass to store it in geological spheres as the biomass carbon capture and storage technology. And all these activities which we are looking at INNO4CFIs, they benefit from an increasing policy backing. There's the carbon removal certification framework, where the European Union is building a unified quality scheme. The first methodologies are currently being approved or assessed. The EU announced recently that it will create a buyers club addressing corporations in Europe to make advanced purchase agreements to buy certified carbon credits. By mid-2026, mid this year, the European Commission will decide whether to create a new segment in the European trading system for negative carbon emissions, which biochar and the BECCS technologies would apply. And yeah, just to mention, there's some downsides. We cannot sell European carbon credits on international schemes for some formal reasons. And next slide, it's the last one. And so what we do at this project, and we'll come into the details of IMO just in a minute, is to connect the dots. So we've worked and screened, assessed many, many different technologies, both for the carbon markets, where you can sell carbon credits, both for technologies which enhance regenerative agriculture, regenerative carbon farming, and to connect these technologies with companies interested in purchasing carbon credits, with the GreenTech and climate investors, farmers and landowners who can participate. We'll have a strong focus on energy, renewable energy communities who more and more look into ways to use biomass as a carbon neutral technology to provide energy. And of course, the policymaker level, where which is highly relevant to continue the positive political backing of this work stream. So that was the high level policy framework, and now I give the word to Tessias and Irene to go into the details of our Interregional Market Uptake Hub. Thank you.
Thank you, Andreas. Irene, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Andreas. Actually, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. And before diving deeper into the IMO, as Andreas was saying, I would like just to provide you with a little bit of context about how we basically designed the IMO. So next slide, please. Yes, next. Okay, so when we start working on the IMO, on this project, specifically more than 1 year ago, actually, we spent a lot of time basically researching and looking around and observing what was happening on the ground. And directly linked to what Andreas has already mentioned in the last slide, we start from understanding that there was a real market gap, basically. So despite this rapid global growth in green technologies, we noticed that there were on one side startups and small medium enterprises that were developing highly innovative solutions, very strong ideas. Let's say ideas are there, are very good, and technologies is also there. But sometimes these solutions remain stuck at the pilot and demonstration stage. And on the other side, there are real users, such as farmers or energy communities, as Andreas was mentioning, that actually are seeking for solutions, for reliable and trustworthy solutions, but they often struggle to find them. So what we noticed is that we realized that the problem was not much a lack of innovation, but more a lack of connection. And the consequences of this market gap were significant because we noticed that these often innovative technologies remain underused, the environmental impact is reduced, and also economic opportunities are missed. Next slide, please. And this was precisely how we wanted to build the Interregional Market Uptake Hub, and the added value that we wanted also to provide the platform with. The IMO was born precisely to respond to this exact challenge. We designed the IMO as a bridge, let's say, as a sort of connector, a space that connects technology providers with solution seekers. And the idea is to create this shared environment in which different types of stakeholders can actually connect and communicate. They speak the same language because they are linked by the same needs. Let's say they're searching for the same things, and via the IMO they can make informed decisions. Next slide, please. So basically the idea is that the IMO is a win-win solution because for startups and SME, we offer, we provide technology providers with visibility towards real users, so with growth opportunities through direct exposure, and also by reducing them the time and cost to access the markets. And on the other side, solution seekers actually are provided with access to verified and high-quality technologies. They can be, let's say, supported in the reduced adoption and investment risk, and they can actually access these markets with confidence and let's say, more informed decisions. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen now to dive deeper into the platform, and you can confirm if you see my screen. You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so you can directly search the IMUH online. You can search it by www.imuh.eu, and you can find it online in internet. And upon accessing the platform, you will immediately redirect to this landing page. This is how we designed the IMUH, and by scrolling down, you can immediately understand the why and who the IMUH is for. So for this platform, we have identified, let's say, 4/5 different type of users, potential users that can actually access our platform. We have the guest, we have designed these 4 cards, and we have identified some information for each type of users. Of course, we have the guests who are those general stakeholders who have a general interest in the carbon farming and sustainable innovation. So they are curious about our platform, they are curious about the carbon farming sector, but they are different from these neon startups that are, as I said before, the technology providers. So they are entering the platform because they want to showcase their technologies, or because they are searching for connections and engagement with other stakeholders. We have renewable energy communities and farmers that we have, let's say, merged in one category. These are energy communities and sustainable agricultural producers that maybe are searching for technologies to optimize their resources, or they want just to discover some opportunities related to the carbon farming practices. And then we have the buyers who have been designed as mostly medium and large enterprises, companies and organizations that are seeking for sustainable solutions because they want to strengthen the visibility, let's say the brand value, or because they want to explore the technology solution to connect with to RECs or farmers. Whatever you decide to opt for, you just need to select one of these 4 users, and you need, of course, to register. The first, let's say, step towards entering the platform is to sign up and create a new account. You need to insert an email address and a password, and by clicking on the sign up, you will receive via email the link to confirm your creation of account. Of course, I'm not going to do so because this will take too much time, but I'm going to directly log in. Once you receive confirmation, of course, you re-log in the platform. And you need, of course, to set up your profile. So you have registered, you have created your account, but once you log in, you need to set up your profile. And in order to do so, as you can see, you need to fill this multi-step form, registration form. So according to the type of, let's say, user profile that you have selected, for instance, I'm going to be a buyer today, you need to insert all the information to fill in the registration form. Okay. Indeed, there are some personal information, the buyer profile. For instance, I'm EnergyU. I'm a large enterprise. I add here some sustainability goal. My interest is that technology investment. I can select for the matching criteria. So I like to find some opportunities in Italy, since I'm Italian, in Spain and Portugal, and I'm interested in the renewable energy technologies. Once I've done so, I click on the next. I review the information that I've inserted before in case I would like to change anything, and then I complete the profile. And once I complete the profile, I'm directly logged in the IMUH platform. Okay. As you can see here is what I see as a buyer. Of course, there are different types. The IMUH has been designed with the same functionalities for all the users, let's say. The only difference is the marketplace for the buyers and another functionality that I'm going to show later for these SME and startups. But except for these two types of functionalities that you can see, the IMUH offers the same functionalities for all. From this sidebar, you can select which type of section you would like to discover more. But today we are going just to explain step by step all the functionalities. So the first one, of course, is the dashboard, and the dashboard provides you with an overview of what you can find within the IMUH. So, of course, you have here the numbers of, for instance, of the technologies that have already been uploaded. For this IMUH launch, of course, these are technologies that we have created, so are sort of placeholders. Of course, we don't have all these companies that have already registered, so you will be the premium users, so you are going to register for the first time in this platform. You can find also the active users that are the users that have registered and are actively using the platform, the connections that you have created via the making system, and also the platform growth, which is something that is related basically to type of data that actually provide us with information on the monthly growth rate of the platform. Here are the daily technologies, so I'm not going to dive too much deeper into the dashboard because I'm going to explain each of these sections later. And then here, just to provide you with an insight, that are the latest platform news. So these are news taken from the carbon farming sector, just to provide insights into this sector. If I want to know about the showcase, I select the technologies showcase, which has been designed as imagine this as the Amazon space. So basically, when you are searching for something and you are immediately redirected to all the list of products. Okay, the technology showcase within the IMUH works exactly the same. Here you can discover all the innovative technologies related to the green transition. And you can search directly the technology, the company, or the description if you already know the company and technology that you're interested in. Or if you don't have already the name of the company or the description, you can sort it by different filters, like the relevance, the most few technologies they recently added. You can search it by sectors. We have included here some sectors. You can search it by TRL and by technologies. How these technologies are showcased. Of course, I'm a buyer, so I'm seeking for technology solutions. So according to what I have included in the registration form, the first technologies that are shown to me are the most recommended, which means that these are the technologies that perfectly match with my needs, the needs that I have expressed in the registration form. If I scroll down, I can see then the technologies that are with the highest TRL level, so TRL 8 and 9. These are technologies that are the most mature technologies, so they are ready for the market. And for this reason, we have included them into the so-called carbon farm technology platform, that is to say a sort of premium section of the technology of showcase. But there are also some upcoming technologies that are different from the TRL 8 and 9, because here you can see technologies with TRL 6 and 7. Whatever technology you are interested for, you can just click on the card and you are immediately informed about this technology. So from this card, you can see the image, the pictures related to the technology. You can see the TRL, you can see the name, the company that is providing this technology, as sort of a brief description, the sustainable development goals that are linked to that specific technology, the main objective of this technology, and let's say the methodology and approach that is being used, some requirements, specific requirements, and sorry for my some requirements and other information that you can include in case any of this is sufficient, let's say, about the technology. Also, what you can find in the card. In the card, you find also the KPIs this is quantitative data related to the technology, and this is something that the technology provider actually express about some sort of KPI. So it's very important that once we upload the technology, we are as much accurate as possible, because this will actually be very useful for the buyer's point of view, because it directly matches with my needs. But the most important, let's say, section within this card are, of course, the matchmaking system. As you can see from this, we have, for this specific technology, for instance, we have a highly match. So this means that this technology is mostly aligned with my requirements. And if I want to know more about, let's say, in what specific aspects of this technology perfectly match, here we have included also the breakdown. Again, there are the technology readiness, and since I'm a buyer and I'm interested in this technology, I can contact the company. So I can click on this button and I can send a message to the owner, because I want to connect with them and also to discover more how can I understand about what can I understand better about this technology. This section, which is empty for this specific technology, is called related technologies. And again, imagine this section as the one that is suggested in Amazon. Like if you are selecting a specific product, other users might have selected other complementary technologies. So in this case, it's empty, as I said, but sometimes it can happen that there are related technologies that are linked to that specific technology. Now, if I want to switch to the metric section, this is something that is very useful, that we have designed as quantitative data related to the carbon farming sector. As you can see by scrolling down, we have designed this section as a sort of, let's say, graphics and also narrative and informative data about the carbon farming. What's the difference between the basic and advanced metrics? The basic metrics can be our data related to one country. So since I'm Italian, I'm going to select Italy for this, and I want to understand better how the carbon farming sector is moving in Italy. So if I select a country, I can have here the graphs about the carbon farming sector. But in case I want to understand better what is happening around Europe, I switch to advanced metrics, and I can select, for instance, the comparison between different countries. For instance, I would like to understand better about, here is already in France, for instance. I want to understand better about Italy, France, and Germany. And again, you can see here the data, the quantitative data about the exactly the same, let's say, topics, the same categories, but compared to different countries. And since it's very important that we don't just limit ourselves to reading the graphs, which somehow can be kind of, let's say, tricky, we have also included in the advanced section, we have included also the AI report generator. So I can, for instance, immediately generate an IE report by selecting the data. For instance, I'm not interested in all of this, but I'm interested in just all the sections. I select what kind of categories I want to include in the report, and then I click on the generating report, and this will be directly downloaded in PDF. In this section, scrolling down, you can see also the data sources that we have used for the official reports publication that we have used for the climate metrics analysis. Then, finishing for the buyer, we have the marketplace, which is something that I'm not going to dive deeper because Lydia is going to provide you with an overview for the marketplace. So I'm going to skip this section, let's say. This is the messages section. It's very important because through this section, actually, there is the connection between the buyers and the technology provider. So as you remember, I have, for instance, contacted a company because I was interested in that specific technology. So I decided to contact them. And of course, this section is also in common with other users. And from this section, instead, from these functionalities, from the settings, I can change and manage my account and preferences to upload my profile, the password, or the team management in case I want to change anything. Of course, I can also invite other members to join my team. It's possible to invite up to 3 members to use the same link invitation, and from the same company, of course. And here you can see the pending invitations. In each section, we have also included some sort of guideline on how each section works, because it's very important that people are informed about each section. Okay, now, before leaving, I would like to switch to another profile very briefly, if I have a couple of more minutes. Okay, this is the, of course, the tester mode, and of course, you won't be able to switch between these different type of users. You can create how many profile you want, of course, but this is just for me, just to provide you with this general overview. Another section is the from the technology provider point of view. As you can see here, we have exactly the same functionalities that I showed before. The only difference, as I said, was the marketplace for the buyers and the upload technology section for the SMEs and startups. Since I'm a technology provider, I'm going to upload my technology. I can upload one technology or many more according to how many technologies I have actually. And this section should be filled with all the information about my technology. This has been designed as a, let's say, an informative section. So we have some basic information and some more detailed information that, as you remember, these are information that will be shown in the card, in the technology card within the showcase of technologies. So it's very important that once we fill in this section, we are as accurate as possible. Of course, we can always upload the information via the settings, so we can change anything specifically related to our technology, but it's very important that we are kind of accurate in this section, because this will serve for the matchmaking tool as well. I can also upload some media and documentation like images or some relevant documents. If I have, for instance, a company profile and I would like to upload the documents, I can upload the PDF. I can also select the sustainable development goals to which my technology is linked. I can select maximum 8 sustainable development goals. And this is the key performance indicators. These are the KPIs that I was mentioning before. You can add up to 9 KPIs. It's very important that once you select the KPI that we have, let's say, including here, you enter also the value, the unit, and you can also include some notes about that specific KPI. These, again, there are some guidelines on how this section should be filled. And just to be super clear, for the others profiles, as you can see, the guest is the general user, as I said. So he can have access, let's say, to a limited section of the IMUH. So he can see the dashboard, the showcase, and the metrics. If he wants to access the other functionalities, he needs to upgrade to the premium section. Then this me and startups profile I've already shown to you. And then the other one, the remaining one, is the regs and farmers, so which have exactly the same functionalities of the buyers. And that's it basically from our side. This was a complete overview of the IMUH. So back to you, Anna.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that super complete overview of the IMU. I'm sharing just my screen again, just a second. And just also to say to the participants, if any questions are to be asked to Irene, we just request them to save them for later. We will have a Q&A session in the end, so maybe we can proceed with the presentations, and we'll now focus in the P2P Carbon Marketplace, and I'll give the floor to Lydia. Lydia, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Irene, Anna. Good morning, my name is Lidia Laejos. I'm part of the University of Salamanca as Distributor Layer Technology Project Manager. Today, I will briefly present the P2P Carbon Marketplace platform that we have developed. I will first give a short overview of the problem and of the value of the platform, and then I will show you a demo video so you can see how it works in practice. Next slide, thank you. Before showing the platform, it is useful to explain very simple how environmental credits work. First, a project is created. This project can come from a farmer, a land manager, or another environmental project operator. Second, the project must be checked. This is done through validation and verification, normally by independent certification bodies or auditors, who review both the methodology and the real results. Third, once the environmental impact is confirmed, this impact can be converted into credits, and then these credits represent a verified environmental value. And finally, all these credits generated can be traded in a marketplace, that is our P2P Carbon Marketplace, where they can be bought by companies, buyers, or investors. What our platform does is digitalize and manage this full life cycle from project registration to validation, verification, issuance, and trading. Next slide, please. Okay. Even if the process looks simple, in reality, current environmental credit markets still face important challenges. So this is an overview of this challenge. The first challenge is transparency and traceability. In many cases, information is distributed across different documents, actor and system, all in your hands. So it is difficult to follow the full history of a project or a credit. The second challenge is accessibility, because smaller actors such as farmer or land manager often find it difficult to participate because the process is too complex or too manual. And the third challenge is trust, because here is our part. Our platform uses blockchain and a smart contract to create an immutable record of the credit life cycle. Okay. So helping reduce uncertainty and improving confidence. That's our objective. And finally, efficiency. Many current processes are still manual and slow. So our aim is to simplify operations through a digital peer-to-peer infrastructure. Next, please. Okay, the value of all of this platform also has a strong strategic value as a European green digital solution, following the certification removal carbon framework. First, it supports a secure life cycle, meaning transparent management of credits from mission to retirement. Second, it supports data integration that Eleonora explained before, because the platform can connect environmental information coming from external sources, such as satellite data, sensor, or other monitoring systems. And in the project design, these data sources are connected through a data space and Oracle mechanisms, so external evidence can be validated before being registered on-chain, so in our platform peer-to-peer. And third, it enables a more direct peer-to-peer interaction between project operators and buyers. And the next, this is an overview of the benefits for for yours. For farmers and land managers, it can create new revenue opportunities through verified environmental projects and more transparent certification. In the case for SMEs and technology providers, it opens participation in green digital markets and integration of data solutions. And for renewable energies and other environmental project operators, it offers a way to monetize verified environmental impact through digital credits, through digital carbon credits in that case. And for buyer and investor, it improves trust thanks to better traceability, lower risk of double counting, that is important, the double counting, and greater visibility over the original life cycle of credits. And next one. Okay, to make this more concrete, I will now show you a short demo of the platform because I think it's better if we show you this video, because if I leave a demo, maybe it's too difficult and too long. So we think it's better in this way. And in this demo, you will see how the platform manages the interaction between different roles involved in the life cycle that I before explained, such as project operator, certification-related actor, and marketplace participants, that's the buyers. The objective of the demo is not to go into deep technical detail, but to show how the platform organizes the process in a structured and user-oriented way. So, Anna, if you can click put the full screen. Okay, thank you. I think it has, if you can turn up the volume, please.
Sorry, can you repeat, Lydia, before we start?
If you can turn up the volume, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because it has some voice.
During registration, the user selects the role they will have on the platform, attaching documentation to justify it, and filling in the requested data and documents to complete the registration following KYC protocols.
Here is all the step of the registration, okay, and the validation, as Irene has in the IMUH platform. Now you log in and the admin of the platform.
The platform administrator will review the user's documents and information to accept or reject the application.
Review all the documents uploaded.
To create guidelines for a biodiversity credit type that is not available, the guideline manager must request the addition of this new credit type to the platform. To do this, they will fill out the request form. The administrator will check that the credit type does not already exist on the platform and accepts or rejects the request. Once the request is accepted, the guideline manager can create guidelines by filling out the guideline creation form, including the information, documentation, and the formula to be applied. Project operators can create their projects on the platform by filling in the requested information and uploading images and documentation. At the end of the project creation form, the guidelines that the project will follow are selected.
Yeah, here is all the process to register your project and to fill what type of credit will be generated.
Once created, you can view the formatted information, the timeline showing project events such as audits, and the credit information. When the project is created, a validation and verification budget is automatically requested from an auditor who can accept or reject it and create the quote for the operator.
Just to contract the auditor that you need to pass all of the steps to verify and validate your project.
Subsequently, if the operator accepts the budget, the guideline manager, the auditor, and the operator must sign the service contract, and the latter must pay for it using the platform balance, which can be topped up via Stripe.
And finally, the auditor also sign the quotation to later make this work. And now the operator need to pay all of this contract. This is Stripe, the way to put the money. And here is the contract details with all the parts synced.
Once the
And now the auditor can audit the project.
The project proceeds to validation, provided it meets the requirements.
Some buyer, if it's in the validation
When a
process,
project is validated,
can be
the amount
funded.
of estimated credits to be issued for financing by buyers becomes available. After sufficient time has passed, the verification process takes place, indicating the calculated amount of credits issued by the project.
And once the project is verified now and later certificated, now you can buy this credit.
The project is verified, and the guideline manager then certifies and issues those credits.
Yeah, the guidelines manager overview all of this step, and it confirmed finally that it's all okay. Later,
when the credits are certified, they are available in the marketplace for buyers to acquire and, if they wish, offset them. By offsetting them, they become effective.
Yeah, and to compensate your footprint finally, and you can see the finally compensated
grade. Request a manual or automatic audit. The manual audit has an initial process similar to validation, as it is necessary to go through the budgeting, signing, and service payment process again.
Yeah, this audit is to all the time and all the years next in this project. And it's the same process. You need to pay and to contract the auditor and so on. The auditor finally sign the contract, and then the operator pay the future audit.
Then, after the required time, the auditor will indicate the credits captured, which must be verified again by the guideline manager to be issued and sold.
This is the manual way. Now we can see the automatic way that we implemented, thanks to the monitoring of some tools like satellite sensors.
Finally, we have the automatic audit, which uses oracles to obtain real-time data to calculate the amount of credits automatically and almost instantly.
That's all. It's a brief overview because it's maybe some difficult to view all the process for each role. So this is a little bit overview. That's all for South Pratt.
Okay, thank you very much, Lydia. Thank you for the video and the clear explanation. We jump straight to the Q&A session, and I already see some questions in the chat, so I'm just going through them top to bottom. So the first comment is not actually a question, is an anonymous link to one nature-based solution with zero carbon. So we will check it later. Thank you for sharing. Obviously, you can use the IMUH to showcase your solution if you meet the criteria to sign in. So please try it out. Second question from Doris Chaya is if INNO4CFIs is linked to We for Food. I think this is Water and Energy for Food, a platform, which no, we are not yet at least. At least someone else has a different no, but it's no, we are not yet connected. We will check out if this is a possibility because this would actually be interesting for us. Thank you for sharing and for the question. As for the links, I believe they were already shared in the chat. Is INNO4CFIs provides certification for free for the GreenTech? This is a question. So maybe this is for you, Lydia. So the question is if INNO4CFIs as a project provides certification for free for the GreenTech.
I'm not sure about this question because INNO4CFIs not provide any certification. It can be the propriety role. In this case, it will be the guideline manager in our platform. So it's this unofficial technical part of European Commission. But INNO4CFIs don't provide any certification. I mean, the certification, it can be if you are a farmer, for example, and you have all this landscape and you apply your project, then you buy the credits generated in your project, in your landscape. And if you are a buyer, you buy this credit, and this credit you bought, yeah, it have a certification in the blockchain. That is the last step we saw in our video. So I'm not sure what type of certification you are asking. If for the credits, if it's for the guidelines. I hope I can answer your question.
Yes, I think INNO4CFIs as a project provides this this platform that Lydia just presented, where you can apply for the certification. So it's something that obviously needs to be done by each project, by each farmer or user of the platform. I think that's it. So from Doris, I have two questions. Not sure I can answer the first one. What the 1 kilo of wastewater costs and biogas costs? What does this cost? I'm not sure I can answer this question, as this depends a lot on the project. I'm not sure anyone wants to give any specific answer to Doris about this. Maybe Andreas?
I think that some of the projects are still placeholders, so I don't think it's about the real date of a specific project listed at the IMUH, which we just showcased. So it's so the tool is ready now. The next step is to onboard as many exciting technologies, and then you can engage with the projects directly. Some of the projects now are still kind of templates.
Exactly. Okay. Still from Doris. Are you linked to Biogas Association in Europe? Any partnerships with INNO4CFIs? Not specifically with any partnership in specifics with this Biogas Association, but as I said, for the other potential partnership that was described before, so the We4Food, we will check this, and we thank you for this suggestion. In order to be a part of the acceleration program competition, we need to sign up for the IMUH or another link, and how much time it takes to get the results. So unfortunately for the acceleration program, it has been open for applications up until last week. Last week was the last day for the applications for the acceleration program. So the last cohort is to start start the acceleration program in April. In any case, you do not need to be a part of the acceleration program to register in the IMUH. You can do it on your own. This was just an extra support that the project, as a new project, provided. But for anyone that is listening and wants to sign up to the IMUH, please do it. There's no need to go through the acceleration program in order to do it. Another question, do you provide credit per CO2 reduction only, or you have per biomass and per wastewater? Lydia, can you?
Okay, this is about the guideline, okay, and that we see before in the video, because the idea it's all to transfer by the formulas you see in all of carbon credits to buy or to sell in this case. But the idea is, if you have biomass or other type wastewater, in that case, in the video, we showcase the water guidelines. It's because you have the formula, because your measure is about water, but then the formula is applied to convert it in carbon credits. But I mean, it's not necessary be only carbon that your measures, because it's later transformed in carbon credits by some formulas applied in the guidelines. Okay, so it's not a problem. I mean, it's about all biodiversity credits.
Thank you. Another, I think it's also for you, from Kenneth. Do you have or do you purchase? I'm not sure I understand the question, but can you purchase a carbon certificate, or do you need to buy the carbon credits and offsets?
You need to buy the carbon credits, and once you buy the carbon credits, you compensate it to have this footprint allied.
Okay, thank you, Lydia. And there's another question. Do you provide any credits in exchange against CO2 reduction? This also from Doris.
I don't understand the meaning of the question.
Okay, so Doris, if you could include in the chat a better explanation.
Yes, please.
And yes, Kenneth, I think I answered your question before. So the deadline for signing up to the acceleration program was last week. So we are now closed for this application, for this process. But in any case, please sign up for the IMU if you're interested in getting in contact with the providers and other stakeholders. Okay, so I think Doris just answered any monetizing to the carbon credit. So in case I'm reducing, as per my company, the CO2 by 80%, can I sell it through you?
Again, I don't understand the meaning of the question. I'm not sure if you can, Doris, have my email and make better this question, and maybe I can study and answer or try to answer that question.
Yes, I mean, I think that would be great, Lydia, if you're available for that. If you could send Doris your email. Yes. Where can I sign up? I assume that this signing up is for the IMU. So to sign up to the IMU, we have already sent in the chat the link, the direct link to the IMU, so you can sign up from now, right, Irene? It's already out. It's already open.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
Yeah, and the process was explained by Irene. It's a quite simple one. So please do sign up if you're interested in learning more and understanding the IMU better and profit from it. I don't see any other questions. So if there are no other questions, I believe, Lydia, please send to all participants, not only to hosts and panelists, in the chat to everyone.
Okay, but I think I'm writing in features and panelists.
Yeah, okay. I can send it, no worries. Okay, so as I was saying, as I don't see any more questions and answers, I believe we have answered all of them, and we hope that this presentation of these two project scalable solutions was clear. In any case, you can always find us as a project through our website, INNO4CFIs.eu. All the information is there. Also on LinkedIn, the campaigns are always active, so please also join there. We thank you again for your presence, and we thank you again for your questions, and have a good day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Anna, for arranging this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.